Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412, and today we're going to be looking at this main slate on Sunday for DraftKings. 10-game slate, and we do have a couple games that are a rain concern. Nothing that I think is going to be any postponement, but you might get a delay or two in just a couple of these games. But it's probably not likely. I think the majority of the things I was looking at was like a 30 to 40% chance. If you can hear, there's some thunder going on at my house right now. So it looks like across the country, there's some just rain threats. So pay attention to that. But what we're going to do, I'm a little short on time here. So I'll just give you 5 pitchers that I'm interested in, a couple of the bat stacks as well. And then I'll give you some individual value plays as well. So right up at the top, he's my first choice here, Charlie Morton for Atlanta. Morton has the highest strikeout upside on the slate. He's got the best strikeout percentage on the season among all the pitchers on the slate. And he's in a favorable matchup going against Milwaukee, who we do know is a top strikeout team, especially against right-handed pitching. It gives you the best floor on the day, and he's a pretty good line for a win. So all in all, I think Morton, his 10.2 price tag is a little higher than I want, but I still think he's the number one, my favorite play. Next guy I'll give you is Adam Wainwright. Wainwright is going up against a Minnesota team who really struggles against right-handed pitching. They lost Nelson Cruz, as we all know. And so their projected lineup today against right-handers, only 2 of the entire 9 bats have an average above 240 against right-handed pitching. So Wainwright, he's in solid form here as well. 4 of those Minnesota bats strike out more than 30% of the time against right-handed pitching. Wainwright, we know his strikeout upside. He can go deep into games while keeping the pitch count low as well. He doesn't walk guys very often, and he's in nice form here. So I think Wainwright is another solid option for you. Next guy is Barrios. He got a new team in Toronto now. He just got traded for some prospects from Minnesota, and he was pitching pretty well with Minnesota. You can kind of see his form has been fantastic. His salary has actually gone down since he's been doing this recently. And one boost he does get is now he has an offense behind him that can really put him in line for the win bonus as well. You can see he's pitched 4 pretty decent games here, and he doesn't have a single win. Just because the Minnesota bats kind of let him down quite a bit and often have this season. So now he's got that strong Toronto offense behind him. I think a 20 to 24 point game for Barrios here, it would more than pay off his value. So I do like Barrios. I think he's going to be hyped up for the fans. They're finally back in Toronto. It's a pretty special time there. So Morton, Wainwright, Barrios are my 3 favorite. Montgomery, if you go down to a little cheaper, I think he's going to be popular. He's in really good form here, especially at his price tag. He's in a favorable matchup, and you can see his form has been against pretty decent offenses, much better offenses than Miami, Boston twice, Tampa Bay as well. So the strikeouts are there for him. He's got back-to-back games with no earned runs. So his return from the All-Star break has been fantastic. So Montgomery, if you're looking for a cheaper play, he's probably the top option down in this range for sure. And the final guy I'll give you, I'll give you 2 just because I don't know which one I want. But Brad Keller knows ever since I said he was terrible, look what he's done. 20, 28, 20, and 18. Now, it wasn't against an offense that is remotely close to Toronto. I mean, the White Sox are good. But Toronto is just another beast. So am I expecting a 20-point game from him? No. But it is just something that you want to be paying attention to. But he is also a guy who can get you this. So yeah, he's in nice form. So I do want to point that out, but I'm not going to be playing him today. Fulton Evans, he is also intriguing to me. He's kind of like a boomer bust. You can kind of see he's getting you in the negatives, or he's getting you 3 times, 4 times value, which is fantastic. So I think he's more of a GPP play here. And he has a serious issue letting up the long ball. Look at this. He's let up 10 home runs in his past 3 starts, 7 of them since the All-Star break. But he's going up against Seattle, a Seattle team that is dead last in the league against right-handed pitching. On the season, as a team, their batting average is 220. If you look at their lineup for today, only 3 of the players that they have going today have an average above 200 against right-handed pitching. So it's clearly the worst offense in the league against this pitch hand. So Fulton Evans, I think, is a GPP play if you go down here. But obviously, if this is for cash and you're down this range, definitely hop up to Montgomery. So let's go to the bats here. You're going to have your popular plays. You're going to have the Toronto. The New York Mets have a high implied run total as well. Same with this Baltimore-Detroit game. I like the Atlanta bats here going up against Anderson from Milwaukee. We know by now Anderson, he just does not strike anybody out. He hasn't had more. I think he's had 1 game of more than 3 strikeouts in the past 2 months. It's pretty insane. He just doesn't strike anybody out. This Atlanta offense is very strong. My favorite play from Atlanta is Ozzy Albies. He's probably one of my favorite hitters on the entire slate, just with what he's able to provide. So Albies, definitely, if you're playing Atlanta, he's got to be in your lineup. Other guys from Atlanta that I'd be paying attention to would be Riley, Freeman, and Jock Peterson. I know it's pretty pricey if you throw these guys in here, but if you, let's say, throw in Morton, throw in Montgomery, let's see where you end up. 3.2 for 4 remaining spots. Like I said, I'm going to give you some value plays here that are near min price as well. So you're more than capable of throwing in a nice Atlanta stack. After Atlanta, I'm looking towards Detroit. I think Detroit's another fine team going up against Watkins. Watkins, he had those 3 straight starts to start the season and only allowed 1 earned run in each of them, but then got hit pretty hard against Miami. He's probably in between as a pitcher. He's not the elite guy we saw. He's not the terrible play that we saw as well. But Detroit's been hitting the ball very well. They've been one of my favorite stacks coming out of the All-Star breaks here. Their prices have been coming up here, so that is a little disappointing. But if you were going with these guys, you're looking at Scope, you're looking at Candelario, you're looking at Harold Castro, H. Castro here, if he does get the start, and Baddoo possibly leading off. So these are kind of the 4 guys that I would be paying attention to if you do want to go with that Detroit stack this afternoon. Some GPP plays, 2 GPP darts, the YOLO plays, if you want to call them, are Washington and Seattle. Seattle, I told you, they don't do well against right-handed pitching. They struggle a lot. They don't hit for average at all. But also, like I said, Fulton Evans, he's let up 10 home runs in the past 3 starts, 7 home runs in the past 2 coming out of the All-Star break. He's allowed more home runs than he has strikeouts and walks combined. So, Seattle, if they can hit 3, 4, 5 home runs today, I mean, that's definitely going to be more beneficial than roping off 6 or 7 singles or doubles, So the Seattle is my 1 GPP YOLO call. I don't expect them to really do too great, but it's there. But Washington is the other team, and it's pretty much for the same reason. Alzolay for the Cubs, he is another home run concern issue pitcher, whatever you want to call it. 6 of his past 7 starts, he's allowed multiple home runs. So, his form is not great. He's allowing hits to go along with it. The walks, it's not bad. It's kind of average. So if he was walking more guys, I definitely have more interest in Washington. Just get guys on base. But we also know, Washington, they did lose Trey Turner, so they lost a couple of guys. But I still think they're a nice play here. And my favorite play, if he is playing, would be Stevenson at 2.1K. This is one of the value plays that I am interested in. He could be leading off here at near min price against a guy who lets up a lot of home runs. If you played spring training with us, you know that we were very high on Stevenson. You know, he does have that batting potential, but he also has a stolen base upside that we really like as well. So Stevenson, if he is leading off, he's in that nice lefty-righty matchup. He's got stolen base upside. He can hit for average. He's one of my favorite values on the entire slate. Next value would be Hayes for Baltimore, and he's been a value for quite a while now. You know, I don't know why his salary hasn't been going up. You know, he shouldn't go up too much, but I think he should at least be like 3-3. He's been hitting the ball very well. He's in a nice matchup, going up against Detroit and Alexander. I guess he hasn't been hitting very well lately, but I still think Hayes, given his spot in the lineup, given the matchup today, all things, you know, put together, I think he makes for a nice value play. And the final value play I'll give you is going to be over in Pittsburgh. And I do apologize. These are all offensive, or I do that every time, outfielders. And that would be Ben Gamel going up against Gibson. You know, Gibson, he's a fine pitcher if you want to go with him as well today. But I do like Gamel. Same thing as Stevenson. You know, he can hit for average. He's been hitting well. He's got that nice lefty-righty, and you know he's going to be right near the top of the order if he is going to be in the lineup today, or should be at the top of the order. So we like Ben Gamel as our third value play today. So I apologize, that was pretty quick, but again, I am short on time. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it can guide you in the right direction. And as always, good luck in your contests, and we will see you in the next video.